Hey, Steve Saretsky here. As always, Canadian real estate market update with a particular focus on Vancouver. If you get any sort of value or entertainment out of these videos, all I ask that you hit thumbs up and subscribe. Questions, comments, put those below. I want to do a video this week, kind of change the format up, keep it pretty short. But I get a lot of questions about what books I'm reading, things I'm subscribed to, investment ideas, etc. And so what I figured I would do this video is just sort of share some of the things that I read and subscribe to that perhaps you will find of use or of value. And of course, we'll sort of dabble on the markets, things that I'm looking at for this week. But for the most part, kind of want to change the format up here just for this week. I also get some feedback here from you guys moving forward. But yeah, I mean, first off, like, again, I'm a huge student of markets, not just real estate, but the whole macro economy as a whole, because everything moves in tandem. Nothing works in this vacuum. And so I pay for a lot of outside research that also helps formulate my ideas as well. And so one of the big ones that I've recommended a lot in this channel over the time is Real Vision TV. It's really truly is the best financial media channel that's available. So basically all they do is they do long form interviews with the brightest minds in the finance space, hedge fund managers, etc. People that have actually been moving money, managing money, that are extremely smart. And so I highly encourage you to check that out. I think they've got the price down to about $200 a year now. There's actually going to be a link below where you can sign up to that. And if you actually use that link, I will get $25. So not bad. It is my birthday this weekend, so that would be a nice birthday gift. Not that I really need the $25, but if you are going to subscribe to Real Vision, please use that link below. Again, highly recommended. I also subscribe to Hedgeye. Hedgeye is a macro research firm, independent macro research firm, where they basically do what's called full cycle investing. So they basically look at what the economy is doing, and based on the growth and the cyclicality of the economy, where we are in the cycle, they will recommend things that perform well. So right now, they say we are basically in quad 4, and what that means is basically a low growth, slowing growth, decelerating environment, and that's where they've been recommending long gold, long REITs, long utilities, and long bonds, and that has been a trade. Those are trades that I've been following for quite some time, and obviously it has done very well. But yeah, I find that very interesting. So Hedgeye, I highly encourage you to check that out. I think it's about $1,000 a year. I guess on the more fun side, not so much like always investment ideas, but Grant Williams, huge fan of Grant. Grant actually co-founded Real Vision TV. So he writes a newsletter. It's $250 for the year, and he writes a 20-page newsletter, and you get it every 2 weeks. And it's really just on finance in general. He just talks about sort of all the crazy things that are happening in finance, whether that's right now negative yielding debt, companies like WeWork, various IPOs, Aussie real estate. He'll talk about all sort of the crazy things that are happening. It's always a very entertaining read. He's an excellent writer. The other one that I also subscribe to is Jared Dillian, my friend Jared Dillian of the Daily Dirtnap. He writes a daily, small piece. I think it's $500. I pay $500 a year. But it is just like an everyday piece. He basically talks. He'll give the odd trade recommendation, but it's more of a macro musings, light, easy to understand piece. And so those are the 4 that I really subscribe to. I honestly probably have sometimes I think information overload, but I highly encourage you to at least check those out. I think some of them will at least apply to you. And then I think as last but not least, this is a free subscription that I have because I want it, is Julian Brigden's MI2 research, which I think is valued at like $40,000 a year. Obviously I don't pay that. Yeah, so that's kind of what I read, follow. I try to always seek out individual sources, people that don't have biases, or that that will have to work for a bank and have to share some sort of filtered message to keep markets moving. So I prefer to get it from people that have really strong reputations for being objective and providing thoughtful analysis of markets and not leaning in one direction or the other. So those guys have been awesome, and that's really how I sort of distill a lot of my videos and content and information. It's not necessarily about like, does this fit a narrative, or does this help me sell more product or whatever. It's more so about providing value, and I think through that providing value, people will tend to resonate with that, and then it works more so in your favor in the long run. So that's pretty much it. I mean, again, I look at that just to sort of see all the financial turmoil that we have in the markets today. There's so much happening right now. It's absolutely incredible. You're seeing central banks cutting interest rates, basically in a rapid race to basically devalue their currency, and they're basically destroying the banking system. We have rates that are now creeping negative territory across the world, and what does this mean as we get closer and closer to what everyone believes is going to be that inevitable recession? Is how do you then fight to get out of that? Generally speaking, you have to cut rates by 500 basis points to get out of a recession. So I think we're in this precipice now that people are starting to become aware and cognizant that there's something happening in the financial system. There's something that isn't quite right in this low growth, financialized economy where the wealth continues to accumulate to the top and everybody else is kind of getting left behind. And I think people are slowly starting to figure it out. And it's with these resources that's really helped clarify my understanding of the markets and generate theses around that. Just reading headlines out there today, I saw RBC's chief economist proclaiming that the Canadian real estate correction is over, and I just found it too funny. I mean, if that was the correction, I don't even know if I would really call that a correction. I mean, just look at the National Home Price Index here. I think it dipped into negative year-over-year territory for 2 or 3 months. So I'm not really sure that I would call that a correction. Again, as Canadian yield curve, 90% inverted across the curve, certainly signaling recession. Obviously, that's why central banks are pretty desperate to cut interest rates. And here we are proclaiming that the worst is behind us and smooth sailing from here. As we see in my picture below in the background, the metaphor for that is exactly why we do these videos and where we try to position and just being acutely aware of what's happening in the markets, and really just, again, I think financial education is extremely important, and so I hope those resources help. Last but not least, I wanted to get your quick feedback. If you can leave a comment below, I would love to get some feedback in terms of what you'd like me to talk about more, focus, or any sort of ideas for the show. As I come to sort of realize here is, the Vancouver housing market is, it's been through some volatility. And right now it's, it kind of went through this sharp correction, and right now it's kind of stabilized. It's kind of moving sideways. It's kind of in this like weird moment in time that there's really not a whole lot going on. And, there's only, at the end of the day, there's only so much you can talk about. And eventually, the market will sort of tire itself out. And so that's why I always try to, discuss other aspects of the market. So I'm kind of curious your thoughts as to if there's other areas that interest you, or that, maybe I should be talking about more. Obviously, I don't like to get too much out of my realm of expertise, but I certainly have my thoughts on on global macro and finance and how that may pertain to housing markets, particularly in Canada and Vancouver. But certainly, I'm open to your feedback. So if you have any thoughts, comments, please put those below. Other than that, hopefully everybody enjoys a good weekend. Again, this is a video, basically, I mean, there's not a whole lot going on, you know, this weekend. I think it seems to me like every single person is kind of taking some time off, and so it kind of left a slower week, so I wanted to change up the pace here. But yeah, hope that helped. Appreciate your support as always. Take care.